It's just nice to see everybody.
Agreed.
I have to say, I love that baby voice in the background. I just
know.
absolutely love it.
Agreed. Yeah, this is her lunchtime, so.
My God.
Right. I feel like we need to get 2 more people so that it's a full set of boxes.
Full Brady Bunch
Yeah.
square. Gosh, that show probably has not aged well.
I imagine not. I never really watched it, but yeah, sitcoms often did not age as well.
What about the Partridge Family?
Oh. Oh. They are a billboard of their time, or I think it's just like
postcard something.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna get other people, or should we just go?
They're actually probably progressive for that matter. Oh yeah, we could
we should go.
We should.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? Yeah.
Making
I'm
progress.
behind. I'm really behind.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about it, or not on the school?
No, just I think this visitation thing that we were working on was really important, and I do think it's a safety issue. And after I did one draft trying to put in what I thought was a nuance, I didn't put it in strongly enough. So we had a really great response, but I was doing that instead of the plain language on the page 1 YAML.
Well, I loved the edited version you did. I thought that was great.
I was really excited about it because I was trying not to be so explicit when I did the first version.
Yeah, I think that the new one you did, I think it like accomplishes what, like, we can't just be like pick district court, but I think the new one you did like is really, really good at like laying it out in a way that doesn't steer to probate court.
Yeah, I'm so pleased that everybody jumped on board with that, because that was that is one of those things I think that can make a difference as to whether this thing is safe or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah,
I did feel it was, and then equally, Quentin, I didn't, I don't know, I worked late last night, but somehow I didn't see all those Slack messages.
Oh, that's fine.
You have a question about the court selection at the end, which all I saw was that, but I think that we can, I'd like to be involved in that, because I think the visitation issue brought up more of the way that we'd like to approach that screen in terms of court selection.
Yeah, that makes sense, because that was the main issue for court selection, right? Now, I guess I see it's not the only one. That was like one of the big ones was.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Okay.
You'd love to.
I think it sounds like a lot of progress is like huge progress has been done on like how to communicate that information. I think something that might also, I don't know where you all are at with this, you might have already figured this out, but is how to surface that information at the time when people are making the decision, so that they don't press the back button. And
you're gonna it's not in your YAML, but it's gonna go into the YAML. Yeah, but we had to write it before it.
Sure.
It's equally. Yeah, I think there are a few YAMLs that we should insert some questions in that are just information screens. Or Quentin, this, I don't know if you want to, but I think this should be a technique for all the interviews we do. Kendall, I think maybe Kendall used something that Jonathan already has, but you can have a green button, which is like the learn more. So
I would suggest actually putting a question mark icon next to those, so people can actually click on the whole thing, but also the question mark icon, because that lets people know a bit more clearly, here you can find more information.
As opposed to just being highlighted in green.
Yeah, as opposed to having green little MB.
Oh yeah. All right. So basically, but you put the question mark in so you can put text in there, and you just say include a question mark in the
at the end of it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
So
I'm sorry.
usually those green buttons are questions. like what is visitation or something like
I
that.
see.
So it would be so if you want to go there. The thing that I talked to Jonathan about a while ago, though, is equally with those auto terms, which are also green. I'm not. A lot of people aren't going to see that. They're not going to see that it's so
Yep.
subtle. And I, even if you don't have, color blindness issues, I still think it's too subtle.
If you want, I can implement style around it.
Yeah,
Like there are ways that
we
we
have to
can
figure
add a
out, I
class
think
to
as a
it.
group, we have to figure out what style should be, but I think it's
But we
too,
need a designer.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
a
trying to
U-
find someone.
A UX person. But
Yeah,
I
I
mean, we
think
can
we
do
ran
that. We don't have to, I mean, we don't
platform that
need
was meant
that
for.
for the sprint, right? But it is something
No.
that we need to think about in terms of the whole project.
Right. So we'll talk
know-
about that another time. You're right.
I've noted
We'll
it
talk about
down.
that another time.
Did we
Perfect.
say someone did a nice job of making a glossary? Did we
Yeah.
save
Somebody
that?
did a legal tactics one.
I think it was
It was
Ithamar.
on the
Laura?
channel.
Laura?
I think it
Not
was
Laura
Ithamar.
Camara?
Ithamar is
Kate,
doing the
you
first
worked on
5 of a thing, but it's not exactly plain language. I need to speak to somebody about trying to talk to him a little bit more about it's not as plain as I would like it.
Yeah.
It's not, there's still complicated words in there, and I think it's coming from a place of being a lawyer. It's quite simple for us to understand, but it doesn't go to the heart of plain language. So I need to revisit that with him. And but the other legal tactics glossary was done, and I think that was, I want to say Laura. I know where it
That's
is though.
what I
if you
was
need it.
saying. I thought Laura Camara, I don't know how you say the last name. She did the
Mara.
legal tactics one. You're
That's
talking
right.
about you're talking about a family law one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, we have a lot of family law SMEs who I think like would be willing to chip away at something discreet like that and try to.
Yeah.
Hey,
We
we
have
have
it
to
in a-
worry about we have to worry about our legal aid SMEs doing plain language.
Yeah, but they could get it to a better place.
Okay.
That maybe would be less work down the line.
Yeah. Mhm.
Even just using, I found one website, I can't remember what it is now, it's an American one, that suggests legal, instead of, it suggests easier words. So
Yeah.
you can, it's almost a gloss.
Instead of determine, say decide or find
Yeah.
out.
Right.
Or it's basically that. So I can link that as well. And then maybe we can, that's something we can also talk about in a little bit. But I think right now we need to talk about just the general 209A, and where we're at with that.
Let me, before I'm just gonna pop in, I have a call at 1, so this meeting room will close at then. Just so you know. And then also, just because it's related, I think that we sent something that's labeled in the file name, final version of MOU, back and forth earlier this morning. So I'm not sure how final that really is, but the court was confident enough to label the file that. So
Okay.
Like I've been involved in
Maybe.
like final
Yeah.
version 5.
Well, before that, it was almost final. So
We're getting closer.
Okay.
we don't have any
Excited.
comments on it. It's a clean draft. So there are a couple of
dream.
other exhibits, but maybe we'll sign. I expect what's going to happen is there'll be a signed thing on Friday at like 6 o'clock in the evening. But that's just
Okay.
where we're at.
I'll stay
And then
tuned.
it'll be a real sprint over the weekend.
Well, the main thing is, and we're still waiting on the final word on the TRO, but it's once we have that, actually, then we could put the site up with the TRO. So yeah. So
what I maybe that in that vein then, with just about the testing the TRO, I did a draft test case after doing some very quick research, and I put it in the admin thing, but I think maybe I'll put it in the main channel now because Michelle has made some very valuable contributions and some good suggestions. I really like those check boxes and how people can just check if it passes, and then if it doesn't, that's really good. So I'll put that in the main channel, and if anyone has a thing on that, then they can, but we can maybe design one for the TRO, Quentin. I don't know if that's something, and then put some people on it this weekend.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounded like maybe it didn't sound good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure out when
I
I will write the test case.
But-
I'm wondering if someone else could
No,
help.
I can try one. I can try
Okay.
one. Just,
yeah.
but what
Let
if you
someone
just
other
have
than
a
Quentin
look
do
at?
stuff.
Yeah.
Quentin can
If you
just
could just
be.
have a look at.
Can you do a veto? Like,
If you could just
Yeah, I can look over
have a
them.
look at the.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'll
Maeve,
write
you're
it.
talking about the 209A, right? You said TRO. You mean the
The
209A,
TRO,
right?
because if the
She meant
TRO is
TRO.
going live, if the TRO is going live when we launch this, surely we
Oh,
need to test
so
that.
wait a minute. I thought you said, oh, you've done one at a small scale, and this is for the big one. Oh, okay. Sorry.
So
Sorry.
I've done one for the 209A, and I'll put that in the main channel now. That was really, just my shot at it. It was through the affidavit of care, and it was one permutation that you could have. And yeah, so I'll put that in the main channel after this chat. But so that's just the testing. And then the other thing is that Michelle picked up that some of the fields on the PDFs are scrollable. So there's some things that we need to change. And we've got 4 volunteers with Acrobat who are willing to go through the 209A PDFs and do another quality check, basically, with the new issues that we found. So remove the scrollability, that's the word, and check multi-line, do the checkboxes again. So I think the first step would actually
Check
just be
multi-line on some things, not on everything.
Right.
on the multi-line text, on the text areas.
Right. Yeah. The ones where you need it.
And maybe the first step would actually be, sorry?
Oh, I was just thinking, should we implement one of the things I noticed, if people are going to go back and redo, I noticed that most people do auto on the text size, which then sometimes in the final product means you have some things that are like huge and some things that are like tiny.
Yeah,
Could we
I
just,
saw that as well.
do you think we should just implement a standard text size, font size?
I wonder if it can be dynamic for the smaller fields where like maybe we can squeeze in a little bit more information.
Yeah.
But it's a hard thing to say.
Yeah, the biggest
we could experiment with it a little.
Yeah, the biggest thing I notice is when it's like it comes to the signature fields and there's like your signature and it's like looks like it's like a kindergartner wrote it because it's like huge, and then everything else is like tiny.
Field, and then it's like
I think so.
It was just a thought. It is definitely not anyone has to do anything. It's just that if people are going to go back through, I thought maybe we should consider it.
Well, it is. So Michelle just dropped something in the Slack now, in the chat now, where she set up certain things that we wanted to check on the PDFs, and that is what they will be looking for. Those things. Okay. So perhaps we can. I don't think we need to talk about the pedantics of text size right now, but it's definitely something that will be considered, and maybe they can use best judgment in areas where they have like maybe font size, the order font size, but then in places where they're not going to be big. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's a question as to whether or not people look at the output, right? Because when you're looking at it, just editing it, you don't really notice. But then sometimes you're like, oh.
Yeah. That is a good point. So we've got things to consider.
The PDF tester that I did could help with that because it gets text inserted in all the fields.
That's what I'm saying. So if the first step of this process is for them to run through that wizard, the PDF tester, which wasn't around when most of those PDFs were done, that's the first step. And they can see, they've got the text and they can see what it's going to look like. You can check the checkboxes and all that kind of stuff as well. So I think that's something that's going to happen tomorrow and over the weekend. But I'm just trying to figure out with those finalized forms, with the quality check forms, how do we ensure that this whole thing isn't messed up? Because I know that they're already like loaded as templates on GitHub.
Good thing is that they are in GitHub, so if we could always restore the old version. But as long as they don't change the field name, it won't have any effect. It's kind of like a standalone thing.
So I think maybe I miscommunicated my question. My question is, how do we then give the new quality checked PDF? I mean, you'll upload it onto the Trello card, but how do we ensure that it makes its way onto GitHub?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Can we make that a next step, or I mean?
Yeah. So
that can be in coordination with the coders. Like what exists, I can pull it into the playground, or Matt can, or whatever, and
or just dragging and dropping it on GitHub works too. So
it's just conscious that that's a step that has to be taken.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just good to be able to test it before putting it onto the master branch.
That's true too. Yes, definitely before master.
Okay, so that's from my side, the testing and the redoing of the PDFs, or the quality checking of the PDFs.
Wanted to ask a question of the group because the thing I'm about to go to, Justice Gantz is going to be there, and we're supposed to give him a 3-minute overview. And do we know how many continents we're in? I know we're in at least 4.
India, Africa. India's not a continent.
Yeah, so we got Asia. Yeah.
Don't record this. I'm just thinking of countries. Australia,
Yeah.
America,
Do we have Europe?
Europe. We've got 5.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if we actually had people in Europe or we just had
Yeah,
Europeans studying in the U.S.
No. We've got people. Emma and
Yeah, we do.
Rahel are in.
Oh, okay.
So 10 time zones, 5 continents.
It feels like a lot more time zones because whenever I want to send something to the channel on the group, it always says, "Do you really want to send
Yeah,
this?"
it has
And
10
the whole
time
channel?
zones is what it just said.
Because it's
Yeah.
like 1,000 time zones, and you might wake somebody up.
You should have
And it's got a little
notifications on
rooster.
snooze. Yeah.
If you
Okay.
have notifications on when you are asleep,
Yeah.
then it is your own fault.
That's right.
That is
It's not even the default. The default is to silence them at, some
Yeah.
time
10
overnight.
p.m. I think.
9
Um,
great, yeah.
And then am I right to say that we have about 40 forms in the pipeline right now? There are 37 forms listed on the form sheet.
How about
I'd
play
say
it
about
down?
40.
How about
I would
play
say
it
about-
down and say we have like 20, and then when we have more,
Well, I didn't say we're working on
30.
dozens of forms. I'm just trying to get an order of magnitude.
Yeah, I think it's about 40.
Yeah, if you had 37, I just added the 3 CRA forms, so 40.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, dozens.
just always under offer. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, I try not to. Usually I don't go with precise numbers because
Mm.
I do go order of magnitude, but that's my astronomy training.
Okay, so just I know
Right,
I'm very
that was
conscious of
it.
time
Okay,
because
I
it's
can be
13
quiet now.
minutes.
We don't
I
know
think-
over. Yeah.
We can't go over now. So, is there anything else that people desperately need to speak about?
Just to a
Did
quick.
someone just whisper something? I didn't even see that.
That was me. I said I'm going to work on my presentations. That's now why
Okay.
I'm not paying attention to you guys.
I just heard like presentation. Sorry, Matt.
Like a subliminal whisper. Like, like, is this the COVID madness setting in? Just
I'm losing it. It's happening.
like,
Yes,
oh, I
Matt?
gotta make a call. But so, unfortunately, I just tried to run my interview with the appendix implemented, and my Jinja template is broken. But that always happens. So once that is fixed, I think the affidavit of care and custody will be ready to be committed back into its branch, and then in theory, everything is actually ready for the stitching then, right? And there still needs to be all this testing. There needs to be, I think Michelle was smart. We were talking earlier about the fields is actually before testing. So I think the fields need to be fixed and then testing. So hopefully we'll be there today, which I think is a big milestone for the project.
Yeah.
So the affidavit of care and custody, I did those plain language changes and did commits. Do I have to do anything else other than that?
I have another branch off of our branch with a pull request.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's like ready, we'll talk, and Michelle will probably walk us through how to best do it.
Okay. I just don't want to lose those language changes because they're in the language branch.
No, and that's absolutely why I did a branch. off.
You are both working on separate branches.
Yes.
We will work
So
on pulling them in.
Off this call, maybe will somebody tell me which link to send? I'll have Sarah do the SME review on that one. Will somebody tell me which link to send her?
Maves, yeah.
So I don't screw
Maeve will
anything
figure
up.
it
I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a new task because until someone else reviews complaint page 2 and edits it for language and whatever needs to be done, I think I have reached a point. So somebody give me some PDFs or something. I don't know, and I'll steal my partner's computer and edit some PDFs.
Okay, so what I'm thinking of how to divide the PDFs, we've got the process. We're just going to add that one extra step of putting it through the wizard first. We know which forms we desperately need. So those are the prioritized ones. And I'm going to put them in a table in a Google Doc, and then you can just drag them off there. I think that's the best way, because otherwise people are going to be looking at the Trello, or maybe we just link to the Trello and they can take it off there. I'm just aware that in some of the Trello cards, there's a number of different PDFs. So we want people to
take them off the GitHub.
off GitHub. Okay.
yeah, GitHub has the ones that are currently that the code lines up with.
So maybe you
So,
can get
and the
someone one of
GitHub
those.
for the branch of the file, right? Not from
Maybe
Mac.
you could try and take
I
those.
could try
off.
and take
Yeah.
them.
Okay. Yeah. Would you mind? And then we can. I know we've got 4 people who are. Emma's only available this weekend though, and if we want to get this done today, we should probably get cracking on it now. So that's something that you could get started on, and maybe do like a test one first, because you know what we're looking for as well. So is that a task? Is that okay for you, or should we find something else as well?
Great task.
Okay.
I mean,
I might try to
I'll
do a
find
merge.
multiple things.
Do we have other language that's pending that I should try to merge? Because it's very hard for me to not be tempted to fix things that I see, but I shouldn't fix things that someone else already fixed when I'm doing the stitching up.
Yeah, I think stitching is stitching, and maybe we should redact it for you.
Yeah, we
I
should
think
just.
It isn't just stitching though, because if someone asks the question 3 different
That's
ways
true.
in 3 different interviews, I have to choose one, and I might as well fix it at the same time a little bit. But
Plaintiff confidential information form went through plain language and SME review, so that should be, and Lance said he would do the thing he's supposed to do.
okay.
Don't we have a table somewhere with a checklist and all that kind of stuff?
Do we?
Of the
That'd be
forms.
good.
Of
the
like all the
209 form.
forms and what their needs were, the 209 pages.
Is there? Okay.
That would be a smart
Someone
thing.
sends me the card, then I'll look at it. I'll use that. The internet is terrible here in our whole neighborhood, apparently. People have been texting. Not sure what's going on. So everything is really slow. But
Sorry, this just a 298 list or checklist? I've never, what is this?
Is it just the Trello?
I thought, maybe I'm wrong. I remember seeing someone make a table on a Google Doc that had like the name of all the forms.
Yeah, that's the pair programming list that Kate made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think we
That's the
did
only one
like
that I can
a
think.
But
where
maybe
exactly is it list.
maybe if we had some kind of better indication of where forms are at, like if that's through the Trello or whatever.
We could merge, we could convert that pair programming thing, because it's got all the things and I've linked it to the Trello cards. So we could convert that to something of like where the form is at.
I do also think that it might be worth considering whether we want to bite the bullet and tell people who are helping with this part that they just need to go to GitHub and pull it off, because I know that is scary for people, but I don't know. It's just a thought. I'm not sure if it's the right move, but it would avoid like one more place where the forms live, where there could be something lost in translation or something updated or blah, blah.
That's true. I would just be putting them in another location. If we want, we can have a group or individual thing where I just show people this is how you get the PDF off.
Well, what I was hoping is that maybe if you're going to do the trial first to show what you're looking for, you could just record it and drop it to me, because it helps, I think, with people to be able to just watch it over again and to see in case they miss stuff. Like I know for myself, when you teach me stuff and I've recorded it, I often find myself going back to that. So
if you're
just
on with me to ask me the questions that I'm not answering, then
prompt you.
Maybe if we could do that you guys did was fantastic. The one about the doc assemble and the GitHub. So that was about pulling, and then Lily and I were going over the whole concept behind pushing, and it would be really cool if you could just do a sequel. So you pulled it. So now what do you do to push it?
And I've actually just learned about that.
Because her project is, she did it in a very different way from what we're doing. And so she wasn't quite sure what she should actually do with it, because she's not using PDFs at all in hers. And how, at what point, how is it going to get integrated? And she was worried about, anyway. So I think it would be really helpful if you do a second, part 2 of now you've made your changes. What do you do next?
I have just learned about that. So I think Michelle and I can get the team together after this sprint, though. I think that's not a priority right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Kate, you want to say something?
Yeah, just now I went into the Trello and I moved the 209A forms into my understanding of where they are. So if anyone sees, if that's not consistent with anyone else's understanding.
Sure.
Okay. I see that we have 5 minutes left. Is there anything urgent that, Matt, do you want to say something? You're nodding.
No, I don't. Sorry if I made
That's awesome. You made a saying face. Matt.
The very
Matt, you're
confusing
saying first.
export value issue, by the way, should no longer be a step we have to have people check, because Jonathan
So you don't have
to fix on the back end. Yeah.
Awesome. We just have to make sure.
value being yes doesn't have to, that's not a thing anymore, the checkbox.
I just crossed it out on the Trello card, so it won't be a step people see.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what the checkbox export value is.
It should not. I mean, it's still a good thing if they notice a problem with the
it still needs
checkbox
to
not being checked. That means there's a bug in docassemble now rather than something we can change in the PDF.
Okay. But is it
Well-
not such thing that to make sure that those export values are yes instead of on?
No, that is no longer needed for sure. So it's just like,
Okay.
it's worth checking the PDF visually. You don't have to go into each field anymore and check the export value.
Got it. Okay.
Great.
Michelle and I will quickly jump on another call, right, Michelle? And just go through
Yes.
what needs to be done, how to get it off GitHub and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, everything else can go into the Slack. I'm going to put the draft test case in the Slack for everyone's thoughts. Maybe Quentin's particularly if I'm going to be doing the TRO test case, one of them.
Can you show me? Can I come on your call and watch what you do?
I'll
Thanks.
drop you a link.
Thanks.
Okay.
How about we just like put the link in the chat and then whatever comes
do that.
comes. That's good. Be recorded.
Okay.
You should say that it'll be recorded so that people will know. Okay. You have a meeting, sir.
Good luck, David.
Good luck, David.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice
Crush
to
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you.